Hello, everybody.
What's up, folks?
You good, Bill?
Yeah, I'm good. Why wouldn't I be?
Uh, Good to see you, buddy.
Always a
Uh,
pleasure, my good man.
yeah, it's Danny Boy, Bill Corpus Crispy with you. Hello, everybody. And welcome in to another edition, 483, approaching 500 here on
Dude,
the Sports
we're
City
doing it this
podcast.
year?
We are definitely going to do it this year.
500, baby.
Hey,
Whoa.
man.
I feel like just yesterday we did 400.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy?
Yeah, holy crap. We're on the road to 500 episodes.
Yeah.
So we got 17 more to go.
Yeah, man, we appreciate you. We love you. We always thank you. We also want to thank our sponsor, the Dugout in Millwood. They came on last year as a sponsor. They will remain a sponsor, and we appreciate them for obviously for the help and the guidance and everything. We appreciate them, Mark Halpern and company. Mark Halpern, obviously a staple on Sports City Network. You can find him everywhere. And what you could also find everywhere. Um, Shout out to the Grammy Awards. I didn't watch a lot of it, but I did catch glimpses of the people getting the awards. It was pretty exciting. Um,
I watched
congr
some of it last night.
Yeah.
Okay, like I was telling Reggie just before we went on, I don't really. The only award show I really watch is the Oscars.
Yeah.
Um, I don't really watch the Grammys. Like I'll have it on, like I put it on in the background.
Yeah.
I had some things I had to do last night.
Yeah.
We actually me and some of the network guys had to talk about a few things. And I actually had to talk some friends about some event coming up.
Yeah.
So but I just put it on in the background. And like I really wasn't paying attention because like I said, I had those other things going on. But the thing that really stole from me last night was Post Malone, Slash, and some other people during the in memoriam. They did the tribute to Ozzy Osbourne.
Okay.
They did they had Reba on. She was singing some sappy song for the other ones, and then they had Ozzy in the still frame, and then you had the doom 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 doom. And I gotta admit, I was pleasantly surprised they were doing the song War Pigs, which is probably one of my two favorite Black Sabbath songs, the other one being Paranoid.
Yeah.
Um but but when I see Slash and the others, I'm like, okay, well, who's gonna sing lead? And then Post Malone, like, seriously, Post Malone. And then when I hear him sing the first line, I'm like, okay, this is not a bad choice. And it was
You gotta keep in
actually,
mind, Post Malone's has a great voice. Like, he's not some people claim he's more like rapper and all that type of thing. It's a great
he also
voice.
does country too.
Exactly. So it's like you gotta give him credit there. But
Yeah, but no, he knocked it out of the park.
yeah, man.
He did he did that really good last night.
Yeah.
And and I wonder how Ozzy's family liked it because they did show them they had tears in their eyes during that
Yeah.
while he was performing.
Yeah. Well,
They
most
had,
of the
his
time,
wife Sharon and his two kids, Jack and Kelly.
yeah, it's emotional time for that. You know,
Yeah,
but
but
that was pretty good. But the thing, um, what was I going with it? Oh yeah, the speaking of things that are going to be everywhere, can we give a shout out to the Super Bowl halftime performer, Mr.
Bad
Bad
Bunny, he
Bunny?
won some Grammys last
We
night.
want too much of them, including Album of the Year. For again, I don't speak Spanish, so please forgive me. Debí Triar Más Fotos. I think that's his album. I also think it's one of his songs. Again, not a Bad Bunny fan, full disclosure. But I will say this to my fellow Puerto Ricans out there, rejoice. He's gonna be on our halftime show, the Super Bowl halftime show, and I call it our halftime show because let's be honest, this is America's game, the Super Bowl. So
Everybody is just going absolutely for years. Everybody just went absolutely crazy for months. Everyone was going absolutely crazy over this.
exactly, and it's finally here. So again, like I said, speaking of things that are going to be everywhere, Bad Bunny is most certainly going to be everywhere, leading up to his Super Bowl performance. It's going to be pretty exciting. It's been a big week for him. It's going to be a big week for the Seahawks and the Patriots. And we have eventually entered Super Bowl week. One of these days, Bill, I would like to be on Radio Row. How does that sound?
Oh, let's do it.
We're not quite there yet, but that's
We're
okay.
not there,
Yeah.
but you know what?
Yeah,
Success takes time, my good man. Success takes time.
exactly. Exactly.
Um, so I would say, yeah, so like Reggie said, it is Super Bowl week.
Mhm.
We got a lot to talk about. I'm gonna say this. We're gonna save the we're gonna save a lot of the Super Bowl talk for Friday. What do you say, Reg? It's
I
just
that
because
that that's fine. I can hold my prediction.
yeah, we're gonna
I have
say
an
just because
I have an idea of where I'm gonna lean towards.
we
Uh,
have two since we do two shows a week.
yeah,
We're gonna hold off on a lot of the Super Bowl talk till Friday,
yeah,
just because we're gonna be we have the Super Bowl show Friday. We have the pregame show either Saturday or Sunday. We haven't made a decision on that yet. Um, and Monday we're gonna be doing the reaction.
mhm,
So starting Friday, we're gonna have wall to wall Super Bowl coverage. So today we got other things we need to discuss.
yeah.
So I'm interested in some when we get to it, we'll give you a disclaimer, okay? We'll give you a
Mhm,
disclaimer.
yeah.
Um, okay, so first off, all right, where should we start, Reggie boy?
Well, just a little bit of NBA news just to get out of the way. Um, the believe this was Saturday night where we found out that Paul George was suspended for 25 games for violating a drug policy, according to ESPN's Shams Charania. Um, Apparently, this is according to Shams. George blamed the positive test on an improper medication. The statement from Paul George says, over the past few years, I've discussed the importance of mental health, and in the course of recently seeking treatment for an issue of my own, I made the mistake of taking an improper medication. I take full responsibility for my actions and apologize to the Sixers organization, my teammates, and Philly fans for my poor decision making during the process. I am focused on using this time to make sure that my mind and body, excuse me, are in the best condition to help the team when I return. Um, and of course, this just adds to just the inability to be available on the court. Paul George, as we all know, he last season he signed a 4-year deal with the Sixers. Um, he only played in just 41 games last season, dealing with a lot of injuries. And now, of course, he's missing a chunk of time this season. He already missed 12 games due to injuries, and now he's going to miss another 25 games because of his suspension and all that stuff. And look, when he's healthy and ready to go, the hope is that he plays up to a high level like we've always seen him, Bill. But that hasn't been the reality for Paul George and the Sixers. So I could understand if you have Sixers fans out there that are not necessarily happy with what's going on with Paul George. Um, of course, a lot of people are also thinking that the medication that he took was to cheat the system. As we all know, cheating has become a major part of sports.
Whether it be
Oh,
baseball and now basketball, apparently.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, it happens everywhere. It happens in football too. You um, but just to expand the issue a bit further, it's now getting to a point where we have that where he's becoming more and more unavailable to help this team out. Now, the Sixers, they have the sixth seed right now and are actually doing a pretty good job. But they signed into a pretty big deal here, to help the team out try to win a championship, and he's been pretty much a non-factor. So it's tough to watch. Tough to watch that happen.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So he'll be eligible to return in late March. Um, uh, again, just another blow, and hopefully Philly they can continue to figure out things without him. Just to give you an idea of how his season has been going, he's been averaging 16 points, 30 uh, and a half minutes per game in 27 games this year. So, uh, again, just it sucks, but you know what can you do?
Yeah, what can you do? So, yeah, you know what? If it has to do with the medication, then
Yeah. Now the only thing that I'm kind of iffy on about it is the fact that he is trying to seek mental health. So he is trying to improve himself mentally. And look, if you take a banned substance, you take a banned substance. Like, you gotta be careful. But, at the same time, the only thing that I'm going to get on the NBA here, and I think Charles Barkley actually mentions this too, is, you know, be mindful that people are actually going through a lot of mental health issues, and take that into consideration when you're throwing out punishments like this. If he was truly trying to uh, better himself mentally, Bill, and Bill, you know this very well, like, don't you think that we should be a little more mindful of that? Just throwing it out there, just for argument's sake.
no, I absolutely agree with you.
Yeah,
I absolutely agree. I think he needed to be a little more mindful of the meds he's taking that this could pop up in the drug test.
exactly.
And if he, listen, if people have mental health issues, you know what? I think, go get some help, whether it be therapy or whether it be maybe to the point where you need to take medication. So, I can't blame him,
Yeah,
but he should have
but
been
my
more aware.
point is, the NBA also has to be mindful of that too when they're handing out suspensions like this. So, but other than that, like, yeah, no, I'm with you on that, Bill. He just has to be careful of what he takes, and he has to know what he's putting in his body and what's okay, what's not okay. That it would show a little more responsibility.
It will
Tough
show
one.
a little more responsibility.
Tough one.
Okay. So, yeah, hopefully, so 25 games he's going to be out, right? 25.
Yeah. Again, March is his return date.
So, wish him the best. I keep forgetting. Okay, one, it's scary that it's already February. Can we just acknowledge that? It's already February.
Yeah, well, we also said the same thing about 2025. Oh, it's scary that we're already at Thanksgiving 2025. And it feels like yesterday we just started the new year. Well, it feels the same way here. We
Well,
just
last
started the
month
new
we started
year.
the new year.
We started the new year, and next week's the Super Bowl. Wait, what? How did that happen? So time flies when you're having fun. How about that?
I know, right? So yeah, Paul George suspended for 25 games.
Yeah.
Um, okay, next up now we go to the NFL. Yeah, some big things happened this week.
Mhm.
So where do we start?
Well, we have another coaching hire,
Yes,
finally.
we do.
Two of them.
Wait, is it official with Kubiak? Is it official?
Well, I thought it was at least.
Well, last I heard it said they were targeting it. I think they were just working out the deal. So
Yeah, I think what's going to happen with that, Bill, is they'll obviously let him coach the Super Bowl and everything. Um, and then after the Super Bowl, they'll let him do the celebrations. If they win, if they lose, they'll let him clean out his locker or office, excuse me. And then they'll bring him in for a official in-person interview and sign the dotted line and then ready to go. Like, I think that's what's gonna happen. I think at this point it's more about getting into the nitty-gritty of where's your office gonna be, you know, this is the facility, this is the stadium, all that stuff. So I think they're gonna hire.
yeah, I think that would actually be a very good choice, to be honest, for Vegas.
Yeah, I think Kubiak has done a tremendous job with the Seattle offense. And no, I'm with you. I think the Raiders look for a Raiders team that has been incredibly incompetent with these one-time head coaches. And look, these one and done head coaches have been a disaster for Las Vegas. But I think that hiring a guy who's very smart in Kubiak and someone who's like a rising star and you know obviously as is a Super Bowl coach, like I think it'd be great for Vegas, as they're trying to get their next star, Fernando Mendoza.
It's about a 99.9% chance they're getting Mendoza.
Exactly. Now, of course, I have my opinions on whether the Raiders should actually go for Mendoza. As you know, the Raiders have way too many holes on their offense that they can always get. But still, they have way too many holes on the offense, some holes on the defense as well. And it to me, I feel like, you know, at the end of the day, they need to address those needs more, but that's not what's going to happen. They're going to pick their franchise quarterback. And I think that may excite Mendoza a little bit, just have an offensive guy beating his ear.
No, I think yeah, he would have him in his. And I think Kubiak can now develop his own quarterback, if that makes
Mhm.
sense.
Exactly. And it also wouldn't shock me if he goes in to this new job as the play caller. So there's a lot that could happen here. But the Raiders are expected to hire Kubiak as coach, obviously let him coach the Super Bowl, and then they'll get into the nitty-gritty. throughout next week. And then, of course, another hire in Arizona, Bill.
Mike LaFleur has been hired by the Los Angeles Rams of St. Louis.
Yeah, they're hiring the Rams OC, Mike LaFleur. Yes, the
Yes, the
Cardinals.
Arizona Cardinals are hiring him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what do we think of this hire?
First of all, who the hell does he have over there? Um, they're
He's
in
got Kyler Murray.
a. I think the Cardinals are in a tougher spot than a lot of teams. Um, Tougher than the Raiders for sure. Um, Look, you're going to be in a division with the Rams, the Niners, and the Seahawks. You don't have a great team surrounded, so you're going to have to figure out what your team's going to be.
Yes.
They're, again, they're another team that has a lot of holes. Like, you don't know who's going to be your quarterback. You don't necessarily have a great offense. Like, to me, I feel like with LaFleur, while LaFleur is certainly a good offensive mind, the the only big issue that I have with this is one, when he has been sort of that offensive head coach type of thing, it was with the Jets, and the the Jets were an abomination, mostly because of the quarterback, but also because LaFleur's play calling was atrocious. You know, like two things could have been true during Zach Wilson's time with the Jets. Zach Wilson was terrible, but then Mike LaFleur did a terrible job developing it. So obviously he goes to the Rams where he was not the play caller, where he had a Hall of Fame quarterback
Not Stafford.
running the show. He has weapons. Like, to me, I feel like this smells like disaster for LaFleur. Like, I really do. Like, I think if he had gone somewhere else where there may have been, where you're gonna have somewhat of a good young quarterback, maybe, um, better offensive line, and then of course you can hire your big time defense to make big time plays and all that stuff. Like, if you could go to a situation for LaFleur where you know that you can build something on the offense, I would feel a whole lot better about it. Here, though, this smells like 2, maybe 3 years, and he's going to be gone, and the Cardinals are not going to benefit from anything.
Yeah,
So,
because what is Kyler Murray gonna benefit from?
right. I mean, is Kyler Murray going to even be there? That's another thing. And what if Kyler Murray isn't there? Who's going to be the quarterback that's going to be able to help this team out? Tough spot. I don't know if I love this for LaFleur. Like, I think he's going to get massively exposed, and people are going to realize, you know, because he wasn't necessarily the head honcho on the offense in LA, like, I think they're going to realize real quick, Bill, that he's not necessarily a fraud. I think he's a smart offensive guy. Like, he was a pass game coordinator in the Niners. That then he did pretty well there. But let's be honest. You know, everywhere where the offense has been good for LaFleur, he had
It's
some
not
good
because of
offensive
him.
mind. He's had some good offensive minds around him. So it's like,
It's not because of him. So you know what?
yeah,
Maybe LaFleur is not really the best person to be coaching this team.
yeah,
And this is Matt LaFleur's brother, isn't it?
correct.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, so Mike LaFleur is going to be the head coach of Arizona, and I'm just saying Arizona's a dumpster fire right now.
Better than the Jets.
better than at least the Giants are gonna be,
Yeah.
spiking it up soon with
Yeah.
Harbaugh.
Yeah, I will say this. I think Arizona's in a way better spot than the Jets because at least they have a direction going on. Jets have no direction whatsoever. You know?
They have no direction whatsoever right now. Sorry, Reggie.
It's all good. Like it is what it is. Like I have to trust Aaron Glenn, because Woody Johnson told me to. So, you know,
So anyway, there we go tonight. There we go right there. Well, I guess we wish him the best of luck in Arizona.
yeah, I mean, I hope it works out. I hope I'm wrong about LaFleur. I have a lot of concerns. Watching him run the offense with the Jets was pretty rough. It was pretty rough. And I know again, they gave him a pass because of Zach Wilson, which I understand. It's a better look to be like, hey, you know what? Zach Wilson killed me. But if you're such a good offensive mind, wouldn't you figure out a way to incorporate Zach Wilson's game a little bit better? Not necessarily saying he's the best pick, but I'm just saying, like, I think he did not build a good offense with the Jets too. And understand that again, just want to make this point. Everywhere else he has benefited from brilliant offensive minds. Just saying.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Um, so we'll see what happens. Okay, next we got the NFL honors coming up this
Mhm.
week. Thursday. Um, so Reggie, what are your predictions?
Well, where do you want to start? Do you want to start with MVP? Do you want to start?
Well, here's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
We are gonna make our predictions.
What are we starting with?
I'll
This is
tell you,
question.
we will
Oh,
start with, we're gonna go from the bottom. Let's start with Defensive Rookie of the Year.
okay. I can start with defensive rookie of the year.
All right, and the nominees are Abdul Carter from the New York Giants, Nick Emirami from the Seattle Seahawks, James Pierce Jr. from the Atlanta Falcons, Carson Schlesinger from the Cleveland Browns, and Xavier Watt from the Atlanta Falcons.
Schweisinger has really risen to be one of the best linebackers in the league and is a heavy favorite. So I always go with the heavy favorite. Give me Carson Schweisinger. What do you think?
I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with, since he's the heavy favorite, I'm gonna go with Schwarzenegger as well.
Hmm.
Um, who is your offensive rookie of the year? And the nominees are Jackson Dart, Emeka Egbuka. Okay, Jackson Dart from the New York Giants, Emeka Egbuka from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Trayvon Henderson from the New England Patriots, Tiara McMillan from the Carolina Panthers, and Tyler Shaw from the New Orleans Saints. I'm going with Trayvon Henderson.
I'm gonna go with Ted McMillan.
All right, why are you going with Ted McMillan?
I think he blossomed big time as a receiver in Carolina. Put up some great numbers in his rookie season, and I also think that he has some big explosive power and has that swagger that can really definitely influence voters.
I'm going with Trayvon Henderson
Mhm.
because
It's a
he
good
has
pick.
been. What was that, Reggie?
It's a good pick.
he has been an absolute beast this year
Mhm.
with New England. He has had 911 rushing yards, 9 rushing touchdowns, 35 receptions, 221 receiving yards, 1 receiving touchdown. I think Henderson has been an absolute beast this year. So I think Trayvon Henderson is going to be Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Okay.
Who is going to be Defensive Player of the Year?
Myles Garrett.
That is no debate. That is absolutely no debate whatsoever.
Yeah.
Myles Garrett, he also set the record for sacks in a single season this year at 23,
Yep.
beating the tie between TJ Watt and my boy Michael Strahan. So I think Myles Garrett's going to win Defensive Player of the Year. Okay. Offensive Player of the Year.
This is tough. You have a lot of good nominees here. Drake May, quarterback in the Patriots, McCaffrey in the Niners, Nakua in LA, Bijan Robinson in Atlanta, and then of course Jackson Smith and Jigba for the Seahawks, the wide receiver. Um, Only because he's also in the running for MVP, I'm gonna go with Christian McCaffrey.
Okay. How come? Because he's in the running for MVP?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go with Puka Nakua
Okay, that's a good one.
because he led the league this year in targets, receptions, and yards,
Yeah.
and had 2 receiving touchdowns with the Rams. I think Puka Nakua is going to win Offensive Player of the Year. Okay. Next, we got Comeback Player of the Year. And the nominees are Stephon Diggs, Aiden Hutchinson, Trevor Lawrence, Christian McCaffrey, and Dak Prescott.
Real tough one.
What was that?
Tough one.
I'll tell you this: if he wasn't injured, Daniel Jones probably would win.
Mhm. I
If
agree.
Daniel Jones didn't get hurt, he would probably be Comeback Player of the Year. I'm calling that right now. So Reggie boy, talk to me.
How about this? If McCaffrey can't win any of these offensive awards, which would be ridiculous, um, he's got to win at least the Comeback Player of the Year award, right? Like,
No, I agree. I think
you know,
if he doesn't win any other of these, I think he could win Comeback Player of the Year. Because if you look from last year, give me 1 second, I'm gonna pull up some stuff here. And yeah, I still don't forgive the time when I drafted him in fantasy and he got injured, which started the infamous Murphy fantasy football curse.
Yeah, man.
Which
Yeah.
I'm I'm gonna say, yeah, I think McCaffrey can win Comeback Player of the Year. Like last year, he only went for 202 yards in rushing. This year, he went for 1,202.
Exactly. And
When he went from 0 rushing touchdowns to 10 rushing touchdowns.
yeah. And then on top of that, 7 receiving touchdowns, which, you know,
From 0 last year. So you know what?
exactly.
I'm gonna agree with you, Reggie. I think McCaffrey's gonna win Comeback Player of the Year.
Yeah, for someone that has made that Niners offense so much better. And this is why I think he should, think about they should think about giving him the MVP too. They're not going to do that. because without his play, I don't know what the Niners would be. Um, but also it's just a great comeback story. You know, barely playing in 2024, you know, not statistically not having that great season either. He comes back with this explosive powerhouse nonsense. Like it's great. It's great to watch.
Um, uh, yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think he has just been an absolute monster this year, and yeah, he should win comeback player of the year.
Yeah.
Um, Next, off assistant coach of the year. And the nominees are Vic Fangio from the Philadelphia Eagles, Brian Flores from the Minnesota Vikings, Vance Joseph from the Denver Broncos, Clint Kubiak from the Seattle Seahawks, and Josh McDaniels from the New England Patriots.
Again, a list of great assistant coaches who've done a great job all year long.
Reggie, talk to me.
I'm I want to go. I'm gonna say Vance Joseph because that Denver defense was lethal, lethal all season.
Van Joseph, you're going with?
Yes.
Okay, I am going with Josh McDaniels, believe it or not.
Uh, I think it's a very safe, easy pick. But go ahead. Why?
Because I think he has done a very good job with this offense. I think he's done a very good job developing Drake and helping develop Drake May.
Mhm.
So and look, they're in the Super Bowl. So I'm going to pick Josh McDaniels.
My big thing is the Broncos have won so many games because of their defense alone. Like, like the Patriots won a lot of games because of their defense, but their offense is also pretty explosive. So I do give McDaniels a lot of credit for that, as you should. You know, Drake May has been unbelievable, but the Denver Broncos have won. They got the 1 seed playing defense. Let's be real about that. You know,
No, I do not disagree with you. Their defense is absolutely fantastic.
yeah. So just throwing that out there, like I really think that he deserves his flowers because he built such a great defensive scheme that, like I said, they were a couple plays away. If they get a stop here and there in the snow, they're going to the Super Bowl.
Oh,
So,
absolutely. And now, Coach of the Year, and the nominees
mhm.
are Liam Cohen from the Jacksonville Jaguars, Ben
Yep.
Johnson from the Chicago Bears, Mike McDonald from the Seattle Seahawks, Kyle Shanahan from the San Francisco 49ers, and Mike Vrabel from the New England Patriots. Reggie.
This is gonna be tough because it's. I'll give you my top two. It's gonna be McDonald and Vrabel.
Okay, because they're both in the Super Bowl.
Mhm.
Since you get a top two, I'm getting a top two.
Well, I haven't picked my guy yet, so
Okay,
go ahead.
sorry. Go right ahead.
I'm gonna go with Vrabel. That Patriots turnaround is unreal.
Okay.
They win what for 4 wins in 2024, back-to-back seasons of that crap to back in the Super Bowl. You know that is hard to do. That's not an easy turnaround. Not an easy turnaround. Assembling the right coaching staff, getting the right players in the building, getting players to buy in. I'm going with Mike Vrabel, regardless of what happens. I'm going with Mike Vrabel.
Okay, and listen, a lot of people probably going to pick towards either Mike Vrabel or Ben Johnson. Neither one of them would be horrible picks. They're both how they turned around their teams. But you know what? Who I'm going with, and I think this is someone who's been very overlooked. Liam Cohen. And
Okay.
Reggie's looking at me like I'm crazy.
No, no, you're not crazy. It's just interesting. I thought you were gonna go with more Kyle Shanahan, to be honest with you. Like,
Because look at this guy. He has the second most victories in franchise history right now.
right.
He was the first coach in team history that won 13 games after the team the previous year won 4 or less the year before.
Hmm.
So I would say, I think, a lot of people are going to say Mike Vrabel. A lot of people are going to say Ben Johnson, which either one of them are not horrible choices. If Mike Vrabel wins Coach of the Year, he deserves it, 100%. But no, Liam Cohen, I think that is a name that's been very overlooked, though. You got to give Cohen credit for how he's turned around that Jacksonville team.
I just think the Patriots turnaround's better. You know, two abysmal seasons, Bill Belichick, and then Gerard Mayo, and then they put up this massive season. Um, Same conference as the Jaguars. I think Vrabel gets the upper hand.
Okay,
But
you know what?
I mean,
We'll give him
Liam
title there.
Cohen's a
Okay.
good. I will say this: Liam Cohen is a tremendous coach, and deserves all of his flowers. He's done a really nice job.
Yeah, he has done a really nice job.
Yeah.
Okay. And now the big one. Are you ready for the big one, Reggie boy?
Mm-hmm.
Who is going to be this year's most valuable player? And the nominees are Josh Allen from the Buffalo Bills, Trevor Lawrence from the Jacksonville Jaguars, Drake May from the New England Patriots, Christian McCaffrey from the San Francisco 49ers, and Matt Stafford from the Los Angeles Rams.
I think so. I'm going to give you two players. I think and I want Christian McCaffrey to win, but I know they're going to pick quarterback, and I think it's going to be Matthew Stafford.
I think it's gonna be I think it's gonna be Stafford as well.
Yeah.
He has had a hell of a season.
Mm-hmm.
388 completions, 597 yards, 65 percentage, 4,707 passing yards, 46 passing touchdowns, which is the most in his career.
Yep.
I think he's got this. I think Stafford's going to win MVP. And no offense to Drake May, who's also had a hell of a season. He's going to the Super Bowl. But here's a reason why I think Stafford has this. And I'm not saying the NFL is going to pity him. Stafford's 37 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows how much time he has left in the NFL?
Exactly.
I'm not saying he's going to retire tomorrow, but to someone who is like 37, we have any 37-year-olds listening. 37 is not old in regular life. But in football years, 37 is like what, 80?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 70?
Yeah.
Um, but no, someone like that who could still have an impressive season at 37. Drake May's young.
Yeah.
He's still got plenty of time.
And that's the big thing, the fact that Stafford is getting up there in age. Usually quarterbacks are up in age. Not saying that
Right.
they can't be effective. Um, but this is like around the time where they start to slow down. I have not seen an ounce of Matthew Stafford slowing down. Maybe a tad bit mobility wise, but passing wise, guy still has a zip of an arm. Like he has really done a tremendous job, and he commands that Rams offense big time. So, and we all know he's going to go to Hall of Fame and everything. No, I think Stafford wins by far.
Even though you
Uh,
want McCaffrey.
Even though I'm McCaffrey, I think McCaffrey statistically has been way more valuable for the 49ers than Stafford has been for the Rams. That's just me though, but
But you got to look at it this
I
way,
know
though,
how
Reg.
it works. I know how it works.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of quarterback bias in MVP.
Yes.
We got to be realistic here. There's
Mhm.
quarterback bias in MVP.
Yeah.
So yeah, but no, I think Stafford. And like, listen, no offense to Drake May, Josh Allen. I don't know why he's being considered.
Josh Allen should not be on this list.
Josh Allen did not have that impressive of a year.
I think Josh Allen's on this list because they needed they needed another quarterback.
He
Yeah.
hasn't. This is probably, I don't want to say one of his worst years, but one of
Yeah.
his less impressive
Yeah.
years.
Why not Jackson Smith and Jigba?
I would be cool with that. I like
Like,
Jackson Smith and Jibba. I'd be cool with that.
you know, I think he has been way more valuable of an asset than Josh Allen has been to the Bills. No disrespect to Josh Allen. You know how I think of, you know what I think of it. You know,
Because you're a bitter Jet
J
fan.
J JS JSN is way better this season. But whatever. Again, quarterback bias.
And so NFL honors Thursday night. We'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Reggie, we have to talk about something kind of serious here.
Is it serious?
It is pretty serious.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, I want to just give a little disclaimer to our listeners, viewers. If you watch or listen to this with young children, one, I question your judgment already. Because we are not a show for children, are we, Reggie?
um, Based on the foul language that we use, yeah, I wouldn't say so. No.
If either of us had children, we wouldn't listen. We wouldn't let them listen to us anyway.
Exactly.
I wouldn't let my 2-year-old nephew listen to this. But anyway, yeah, we're about to talk about something pretty serious here. This coming weekend, this past weekend, because Reggie, have you always noticed these type of things come to light on Super Bowl weekend?
Yeah, that seems to be a trend.
Last year we had the whole thing with New Orleans, with the Saints and the New Orleans Archdiocese, and how basically, like, that was last year. It's in our playlist if you want to go back and listen to that. It was basically the Saints front office playing PR for the New Orleans Archdiocese when they were going through a scandal. Years ago, a few years ago, we had the whole Brian Flores thing. Years back, we had Deflategate. So yeah, of course, all these things come to light Super Bowl weekend or Super Bowl week. This past Friday, the Congress passed the as we all know, recently Congress passed the Epstein Transparency Act, and a bunch of files were released, and apparently some NFL owners were on that list. The big one that's being mentioned right now is Steve Tisch, co-owner of the New York Giants.
Yeah.
Apparently, from what they saw, there was correspondence between him and Epstein. I just want to continue when we're saying this. We're gonna do our best to keep the politics aspect of it out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this isn't this specific story here isn't necessarily political, but yeah.
We're gonna try to keep the politics out
Yeah.
because we are, as we say this 100 times, we're a sports podcast. We're not a political podcast. But since it has to do with sports, I think it needs to be discussed. There was email correspondence. We are not going to read any of these emails. They're just too disturbing. If you want to know more about them, just Google them.
Yeah.
Google them. Don't wait. Don't. We're not gonna read them. They're pretty disturbing. Um, and I just want to say this: Tish had never been on the island,
Yeah.
but
And I think that's a good thing to clarify, Bill.
he
Yeah.
was never on the island. He did offer. He did offer Jet Epstein a suite during the Giant games, though.
Oh.
So that already raises red flags.
Yeah. Well, I mean, his name appears like I think you already mentioned 440 times in the documents that were released, these Jeffrey Epstein files. Um,
And it is pretty bad. Like, again, not reading the emails, but I'm just gonna say it had that Epstein was scouting women for Tish,
yeah.
and it's just, and I am going to say this. We're good. Steve Tish did release a statement regarding after he was mentioned 400 times.
Yeah.
And these are his exact words. Quote, we had a brief association where we exchanged emails about adult women, and in addition, we discussed movies, philanthropy, and investments. I did not take him up on any of his invitations and never went to his island. As we all know now, he was a terrible person, and someone I deeply regret associating with.
Yeah. But then you're going out there looking for a good time with women. Like that's the part that, you know, it's kind of fishy there. You know,
Yes, that you're saying this is someone I deeply regret associating with, and
why'd you associate yourself with him?
okay,
You
here's
know?
what I have to say. And like, listen, this is some people generally who are on this list. And there's still more files coming, folks.
Yeah. Well,
Some of them,
they have no choice. They have no choice to reach yeah.
some of these people, whether they were on the island or they just knew Epstein, just because they're mentioned, that doesn't necessarily mean they did anything.
Yeah.
That does not necessarily mean they did anything. But Steve Tish is not one of those situations. There is evidence, there are emails corroborating that him and Epstein were pals
Mm-hmm.
and they were doing things together. So this isn't one of those. This isn't one of those, okay, yeah, he was friends with him. Yeah, they knew each other, but that doesn't mean they did anything. The emails beg to differ.
Exactly.
And, because I was talking to someone, not going to mention who, so, and he said, this someone I know said, well, the emails could have been taken out of context. How can you take these out of context?
And this is why I think the NFL needs to investigate.
Absolutely. And
Because because ultimately, and look, maybe we're complaining about nothing, but the the information that's coming out of these files are damning for Steve Tish. Obviously, everyone who knows Steve Tish knows he's a big time filmmaker, right? So, as well as Conan over the Giants, you know, the fact that you have such a high profile name linking up with a just a horrible, massive sex offender and trying to give him some services for women, right?
yeah,
Like that's a big deal. That's not something that you just brush aside here. You know?
And I want to speak to because and there's other people. We'll mention them in a minute.
Yeah,
But as a Giants fan, I'm disgusted right now.
as you should.
And you know what? I can't believe I'm saying this. I actually feel bad for John Mara right now. Because and listen, you all know during the season I give Mara shit on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
I give him shit on a weekly basis. I have said he's done a terrible job, but you got to look at it this way. He has cancer.
Yeah.
He had to deal with a head coaching search, which I think his brother mainly handled that. His brother Chris Mara mainly handled that. And now he's got to deal with this crap. But you know what? Like, here's things that we need to know. One, like we said, this isn't all the files. Like,
Yeah.
was Mara involved?
Well, I don't want to go
We're
that far.
still waiting on these files here, Reg. Like, was
I,
John
I, I
Mara
don't know if I want to
involved?
go that far yet because
I'm not listen.
he
I'm
has
not pointing the
he
finger
has
at
been named.
Mara. I'm not. I'm not the.
Yeah.
I'm not the jury here.
Yeah.
I'm not going to play judge, jury, and executioner. But that raises a question here. Is he? I'm not saying he is, but is he? Is he in the files? Like,
Well, I don't. He hasn't been named yet, so like
but we
you don't.
still got more coming out though.
Right, but that doesn't mean that we're gonna find out if his name is there. Like right now, he's not even suspected to being a part of this.
Oh,
You know,
and
like
but here's
what if
another
Steve
thing.
Tish's association with Jeffrey Epstein had nothing to do with football? You know,
And here's another thing. Did John Mara know?
see
And
that would raise way more of a question than whether John Marr is in the files or not. Like if he knew he had an association, if John Mara knew that um that Steve Tisch had a relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, you know, whatever it was, client, whatever it was he was trying to do, right? Maybe they're best buds for a little bit, you know, like
like
whatever
maybe
it
I'll give.
was, did John Mara knew that um he was associated somehow, some way?
And like, here's the thing: at this point, should Steve Tisch be forced to sell his stake?
Well, I mean, and that's why you need to investigate. Because if there's a lot more than what these files are telling us, and it's more damning, then that's something that um, that the NFL has to um, consider because there's no way I can accept someone like Steve Tisch as an NFL owner, knowing that um, he was doing all these just things. Now again, he wasn't on the island. He had no interactions with young girls or anything. So
But again,
that's not the case.
these
But
emails, go look them up for yourself. They're not talking. They're not exactly talking about the weather.
yeah, exactly. But
Um,
still, like the fact that he's someone involved and with some inappropriate activity like that doesn't sit well with me. You know?
like if I'm John Mara, what, like I'd be thinking, holy crap, I should really consider telling Steve Tisch, you gotta sell here, dude. We don't want this. We don't want this. This could be a black eye on the organization.
Yeah.
Knowing that you're,
But again, that's why we investigate
yeah,
to see what we could do a little bit more to see what else we can find out. Because again, this could all really be no big deal.
and
But based on what the information that comes out that has come out,
but not just Tisch
something
though.
to at least look at.
Also there were other, like Reg, Woody Johnson is mentioned in those emails with
Mhm.
Tish.
Yep.
So,
No,
and
no,
I
this
heard
is my this is my not shock face, by the way.
the not shock face. Because there were reports that they went on walks together, the three of them. Like, what was the extent of his involvement?
Yeah.
What was okay, now there's also talks about, there's Joshua Harris, the Commanders owner. He said that he had an ongoing relationship with Epstein. And he said that the only time they really met was one time at Epstein's Manhattan suite. And the email said that there wasn't really anything that had to do with the stuff Epstein was doing.
Yeah.
So with the stuff that Epstein was doing, and I did read somewhere that that Harris said, "Hey, Jeffrey Epstein and our relationship was just business. We didn't really have a personal relationship." So Harris, I'll give the benefit of the doubt.
Mhm.
Because so far these emails aren't showing that he really did anything.
Yeah.
And they're also saying, and there's also and there was also saying that Robert Kraft was in these files.
And you also mentioned Josh Harris, the Commanders, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, like I said, investigate further. Obviously, we're not going to charge any of these owners with a crime, unless
Statute of limitations could be expired.
well, that, but also, if they had nothing to do with
The
the
really bad
teenage
stuff.
girls that Jeffrey Epstein was a part of, obviously.
But you know
The,
what? Like, here's the thing: the NFL like you said, the NFL needs to investigate.
yeah, investigate
They
and
need
then
to.
hold them accountable because, look, personal conduct policy exists for a reason, Bill. And if the behavior is looks terrible and is detrimental to the league, you have to hold these people accountable, just as you would to hold a player accountable, right?
But you know what kind of investigation needs to be done, Reggie?
Mhm.
You need to have an independent outside
Yeah, you
investigation.
can't have one of the NFL guys because again, the owners they run the league, right? So,
Because you know Goodell, if Kraft is in that,
oh yeah, like
you know Goodell's
come
not
on.
going to go after Kraft.
Mhm.
Goodell and Kraft are like besties.
Yeah, yeah.
So you know Roger
Despite
Goodell's not going to go after Robert Kraft.
despite the Deflategate nonsense, I think yes, I agree.
Because
But
I remember one time years ago they called him they called they were jokingly calling Kraft a de facto commissioner because it was years ago that Goodell went to Kraft's like pre-Super Bowl party, and everyone was like, "Hey, why were you there?" And he's like, "Well, Kraft's a friend of mine." And but you know what? Like, here's the thing: like, I think Goodell needs to be bracing himself
yeah.
because, again, I've said this a multitude of times, and Reggie, I'll say it again: there's still more to come.
Hmm.
Like, how do we know that any other owner wasn't mentioned in these files?
But
How
again,
do
we won't know until they release more of these damn files, which, by the
Because
way,
I have a feeling that some other owners
mhm.
will be
Well,
mentioned in
I
these
mean,
files.
we know two for sure. A few of them for sure, right? They're already there.
Yeah, we know at least two. Robert Kraft. I even read somewhere that Epstein helped with legal assistance after Kraft's little
Yeah.
massage parlor incident.
Mhm.
Which, again, can we get NFL owners, players to stay away from massage parlors, please?
Yeah.
But anyway, this is this is insane. Like, who else is in the files? Is Jerry Jones in there? Is Mark Davis in there? Is David Tepper in there? I
But
think,
again, that's why you investigate.
yeah, but no, we're waiting for these.
Well,
For,
I don't want. I'm trying not to get ahead of
no,
myself a
I'm
little
not either.
bit.
Listen, I'm not. I just want to say to our listeners, I'm not accusing anyone right now.
Yeah,
I'm saying it could. I'm not saying Jerry Jones is in there. I'm not saying Mark Davis is in there. I'm not saying David Tepper or whoever else is in there. All I'm saying is there's a possibility they could be in those files.
yeah.
Like David Tepper, he was a finance guy before he became an NFL owner. Who knows that he wasn't in the files? Who knows? Like, again, I'm not saying he is, but like you said, Reg, that's why we need to have an investigation. And
Yeah.
it needs to be an independent outside investigation.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Again, I want to be careful with what we're saying here because again, I don't want to jump to conclusions.
now I'm not
Um,
jumping to conclusions, Reg. I'm just saying it's a
yeah.
possibility.
But
Like,
to make the point of, I know you're not saying that these owners are in there. Um, I get what you're trying to do. You want the NFL to investigate to make sure the owners are following again, personal the conduct policy that they have, right? Um,
but at this point, and getting back to the Giants thing, I think Steve Tisch needs to be forced to sell. I think he has to.
let's investigate more before we jump to that conclusion. I'm
Dude,
not,
the
I'm
emails
not,
are pretty damning.
I'm not quite there yet. It is damning. I will agree with you, but I'm not quite there yet because I want to know more. If we can investigate and learn more, then we could start talking more about that. Right now, it doesn't look good for Steve Tisch. It does not. Um, and if it gets to a point in the investigation where we're finding out a lot more that the files aren't saying, and it becomes way more too much to handle, then I'll join you and be like, yeah, I think Tisch definitely does have to sell a stake of the Giants.
Yeah, you know what? On one hand, I'm on my side, which is, dude, sell, would buy, door hit you on the way out. Like, what does the Tisch family really do with it for the Giants?
Well, it doesn't even, don't they run the monetary side of
Yeah, they
things?
do the monetary side because going back to when
Because Mara's a football guy, so
yeah,
he's not a business guy.
did you all know the story when Bob Tisch bought that stake? He straight up told Wellington Mara, "Listen, I know next to nothing about football, so you, so here's what we'll do: you take care of the football, I'll take care of the finances."
Yeah.
And that was their agreement. But Steve Tisch has been more involved than his dad was.
Yeah, I mean, because yeah, because I think he cares about the team, So,
Yeah, but
um,
Bob Tisch for a while, he was just the money guy. Like he didn't really have anything to do with the operations, but I think as time went on, he actually got to know people later. Tiki Barber once said that him and Bob Tisch developed a friendship.
yeah,
Um, yeah, he said, "Oh, Bob Tisch, he was great. He took me under his wing. We became very good friends." Um, but no, like the Tisch family has been more involved in recent years. But at this point, if there is more evidence, like I said, and Reggie is smart to stop me there because I'm ready to play judge, jury, and executioner right now. Like
yeah,
the emails are pretty damning.
yeah. Like, I'm just, I want to be careful, and I want to make sure, like look, it doesn't look good. I'll tell you, I'll go as far as say this does not look good, for anyone that's on these Epstein files, especially for Steve Tisch. It doesn't look good, but it doesn't mean sell your stake. Like, I'm not going there yet. If we find out more and it's a whole lot more than what these files are saying, and it's worse, then we can start having those conversations. Because like I said, you know, you gotta think about the league. You gotta think about its integrity. That's not that this doesn't bode well for integrity for the league. It doesn't.
And if they go, but Bill, he said he wasn't on the island. Again, read the emails. Yeah, I know he wasn't on the island. But if they're having these type of conversations, oh boy. Just but Reggie's right. I think we need a further investigation and
Yeah,
by an
just to get
outside
just to get more
source.
information. Either way, if I'm Steve Tisch, get yourself out of the spotlight for a little bit.
Yeah, go away for a while.
Yeah,
Just and if I was John Morrow, that's what I would tell Steve Tisch right now too. Go, Steve. I think it's best you lay low for a while.
yeah. When we're not gonna, you're still owner. We're not gonna get rid of you, but
But maybe I'm not saying like formally suspend him or anything, but I'm like just saying, hey, when it comes to things in the off season, maybe you should just lay low for a while
yeah,
because and just until we have everything.
yeah.
Because like we said earlier, there could also be raises with John Mara. Not exactly was he involved, Reggie corrected me, but did he know?
Mhm.
Again,
Well,
I can't believe I actually feel bad for John Mara right now.
yeah, Jesus.
And if he actually knew, then Johnny, you might want to think about a few things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, like I said, as we say in this country, Reg, everyone is innocent until proven guilty.
Yep. And oh God, horrible stuff, man.
But nowadays, I feel like it's the opposite, bro. Everyone's guilty until proven innocent.
It's crazy as it sounds, truth.
So yeah, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And yeah, we should really end with NFL honors instead of this. We should have did that.
It's all good.
Okay, so
Super Bowl
that's our
week.
show for today. Sorry we had to end on such a downer.
Yeah, Super Bowl week.
It is Super Bowl week. Friday we'll do the preview,
Hmm.
and sometime this weekend we're gonna have the pregame show,
Yeah.
either Saturday or Sunday. So if you want to know more, go to www.dsportsinsanitynetwork.com. Check out our blogs, check out our history, check out our check out our podcast available on all platforms. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell on the on YouTube. Get all our videos.
Mm. Yep. Continue to support the network as much as you can. We really appreciate it and love it. And again, we thank you for joining us. It's a blessing to be here as we approach 500 episodes, 17 away,
Yes, it
483
is. 17
down.
more to go.
Peace and love, everybody.